Mentality you might expect from a guy who won 2 Olympic gold medals, one at 125 pounds and then another at 132 pounds.
To a veteran, rugged fighter in Salido who came
for Shunlatarn or Piriyapinyo.
And Lomachenko is a guy who, if he feels his opponent, if he sees that the
generally dominated the fight.
Yeah, and I don't care how protected Russell has been.
Low
He's
blow by
really
Lomachenko.
Good.
So Lomachenko makes Piriyapinyo pay for.
He feels like he needs to probe with the foot, but he's always in position.
And we're now joined at rings. Shunlatarn, Piriyapinyo.
Shunlatarn, 400 amateur fights. There's no such thing as early in your career.
Try this, 400 amateur, anyone who's ever lived.
There's enough Olympic and World Championship hardware. 2 gold medals and a bronze medal, and 2 World Championship golds and a lot of medals.
That's a whole lot of medals.
Roy, very few fighters can throw that right hook the way.
And while he's already moving,
timing and rhythm are unbelievable. I mean,
if body, and then sometimes circling back to the right, forcing Piriyapinyo to try to time that left hook to the body. It's not easy to do. Gary Russell 2 or 3 times with body shots. Here he goes again, digging to the body. That was a big left hand by Lomachenko to the gut.
Because he knows, because we're already reacting to what we know he has to do.
Like an anticipation of the future.
Pretty much what it is.
When can I land my money shot? This is what I've got to do to have any chance in the fight. His jab isn't much. He's got 1 punch.
Beaten and outclassed by Chris John, but then came back to have some moments in that fight.
Dexterous. He snaps that right jab. He hits you hard with the left hand. I mean, it's incredible. Lands a mill. The guy where he wants to put him, controls the action.
That's also from repetitions in the gym.
That's it. It's
repetitively
the
do
years
it
and years and years.
For years and years. Back ever touching the ropes.
But we've seen, you know, he was Jeff Fennick a little bit in this fight, and then all of a sudden he's Willie Pep in this fight. He's a combination throwing pressure
down, continuously punch on him until one of them hits him. And here, Pinko's credit, he's smart enough to keep the pressure on after Lomachenko onslaughts him like this.
Fantastic. Piriyapinyo has been on the canvas.
And that's the first time in 53 fights that he's seen Vasily Lomachenko.
That's it.
Hey, very close.
Voted the best boxer at the 2008 Seoul Olympics.
And we probably couldn't find Shunlatarn.
Just genetically, like he's laced with fast twitch muscles. You can
see of Piriyapinyo's right hand. I'm guessing that's the result of head contact.
He can
with his weak hand moving in the opposite direction.
He hasn't had a guy like this guy in front of him.
Right, Gary Russell was much faster.
Yeah.
But Rigondeaux's right there.
I think Rigondeaux's a little small too.
Wanted a faster pace early, much more offensive-minded early. We'll see what happens.
The Terrence Crawford fight in Omaha, Nebraska. Hard left hand by Lomachenko up.
He's taking some real punches tonight, and he keeps coming right. They have to be almost equivalent to getting kicked. That's why I went with the cow.
Piriyapinyo got in.
Extra point to round 4 for the knockdown. So that becomes a 10-8 round. That gives him an out in Muay Thai, which is, you know, a sport where you can kick your opponent.
Though, who reminds me in certain respects more of a Muay Thai or.
And he can do both things. So you see a little bit of him boxing. You see a little bit of him really sitting down.
That Vasily Lomachenko has not thrown a left-hand punch in this entire round. Normal
Lomachenko's hand.
This sounds very counterintuitive to most people. Some skulls are harder than others.
Yes.
And then he pops Piriyapinyo twice with the right hand as if to say, see, I can beat you.
Come in handy, because now he doesn't know how to survive with one hand, which
Piriyapinyo doesn't have enough rounds left to make up the game.
And if he has a hard enough head that Lomachenko broke.
For Arturo Gatti, he shook the right hand, left it biographical material on Lomachenko. We know of no other serious injury. So this way back in 1986 in a heavyweight fight in Nevada, I saw Terrell, and that's the case for Lomachenko. If his right hand were broken, he'd probably, well, we've described him as Superman, so it seems like he could pull on. See how his father feels about that.
Do we know that it's the hand and not the wrist?
We don't know. Routinely, frequently. Not throwing it.
Where they maintain that kind of electric energy in every round. They don't let their opponent.
With a broken left hand, Harold Letterman, how do you have it so far?
Okay, so I've got it 9-0, 90-80.
Thank you very much, Harold. 2 minutes to go in round 10. Jean-Laurent Piriyapinyo trying to get something done with his body punching.
Lomachenko gives him some run in that department, I think.
Well, but you've mentioned Rigondeaux.
He was not good at throwing long-distance punches. This fight, he threw some long-distance punches. So he is improving as he...
Between a good, steady, long-reigning titleist and a guy who believes you.
At uppercut, you may have problems.
Yeah.
Because right there, he would have landed that overhand left again. And right there as well.
Shares with authority, but he throws it into the midsection. Thinks he can get away with it.
Championship, acquitted himself pretty well in that fight against Chris John, all things considered.
Go figure.
And as we mentioned, where Nicholas Walters just looked so impressive against Donaire, you mentioned the potential opponents for Lomachenko and the fights that can...
Threw it 3 or 4 times to the head of Jean-Laurent Piriyapinyo.
Hey, his dad said he could throw it. Forehead.
Another amazing display of common. Shaking the left hand, firing with the right. He's outlanded of that. Now, frankly, Piriyapinyo doesn't get any leverage on.
Vasily Lomachenko.